Here we are. Here we are. Becky Cherney here with Cherney Consulting, and it's certainly a pleasure to be here with you. Now, for those that may not know what I do, I provide what I think is the very best in finance and insurance training for automotive dealers throughout the United States, as well as in Canada. And boy, let me tell you something. I am so excited about bringing Frederick on, Lennartz on, and he is the subprime guru, right? And he's going to share some of his knowledge with us. But one of the things that I absolutely love, especially when we talk about, getting out in front sooner rather than later, meeting customers on their terms. And many of us are having to do things a little bit different than perhaps maybe that we've done in the past, and meeting customers online, having that conversation, engaging sooner rather than later. And maybe that could be a silver lining. And we might be able to sell more cars, maximize profits, retain more customers, and make better business cases. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and let's bring Frederick on, if you will, and introduce yourself, if you will, to everyone.
Hey, everybody, what's going on? Hey, Becky, thank you so much for having me on the show. I know we're running a little bit late. Thank you for working through this and solving this problem for us. So we're on here, we're live. I'm Fred Lennartz. I've been in the business now for almost 18 years, and I've been all over the country. I've had an opportunity to work for staffed event companies, if you're familiar with those. I was able to produce for them, call on dealers and talk to them, do their marketing plans for them, be able to do, all kinds of advertising, whatever I need to do to help people. So in my blood, I've always been good at helping, and that's always been the idea of what I like to do. So when it comes to getting into subprime financing, when I got into this about 7 years ago, I've been in it my whole career, but like in finance side of it, I took it by the reins and just wrote it in. And I just tried everything. I took in what I use as closing. I was a great closer. I loved being on the floor, touching customers, talking to them, shaking hands, making them smile, making them feel comfortable and warm, all the way to, penciling deals and being that guy telling my salesperson what to say, loading their lips, So it's been a fun voyage, and I'm excited to come where we're at right now and be able to talk about it.
Well, let me tell you something. Here's the thing. Here's what happened. I've been following some of your posts here on Facebook and a lot on LinkedIn, right? I kind of think where I met you was on LinkedIn.
Absolutely.
And boy, let me tell you, some of the comments you've made certainly had my interest, that's for sure. Mm-hmm. And more and more, we talk about this subprime, we talk about, how to get customers on the right car to begin with. And I see a whole lot of stuff going on. And this is why this is just going to be absolutely fantastic, because, I want to know, we have dealers who have been very, very successful with subprime. And then there's a lot of dealers who just can't stand it. It's a grind. And the other day I had Richie Bello on, and he was talking about this loan to value, and you'll go over what the heck the loan to value means for those that may not understand loan to value. And he mentioned 90% of loan to value. Is that even possible? And then that freaking lit up like a freaking, torch, right? It was like flew up, and they were like, no way in heck can you be at 90% LTV and be profitable in selling vehicles today. It's not gonna freaking happen. Now, there's something to be said about that. In some cases, I get it. I hear what you're saying. But could that be because we're landing customers on the wrong car? Is it because we're buying our vehicles inventory not correctly? Do we have a process that makes any flipping sense to be able to maximize profits and put the customer on the right car that they actually qualify for and budget for? So what up with that?
Yeah, that's a great question. The other day when Richie was on, that was very interesting. A couple of my friends got on there, even that I know in the car business, people I work with actually. And there was a lot of comments about, oh, it's impossible at 90%. In the grand scheme of things, 90% is not impossible. It does take money down, which most customers should understand. You need to put money down to be able to keep yourself out of a negative equity situation or anything like that. And also, obviously, having the right type of credit. But that all starts at a young age and building and understanding what credit is and building that up. So a lot of things that a lot of people struggle with when they're trying to say, hey, I think that you have to be more like at 125, 130% of LTV, loan to value, which let me break that down. Loan to value is what a book value is, and then a percentage of that. So let's say that a book value on a vehicle, on a clean trade, NADA, if you're on the East Coast, most people use NADA. National Automotive Dealer Association, the little orange yellow book. But on those, let's say it's a $15,000 book on a vehicle. Now you go to the auction. Now I don't buy vehicles, so I'm not going to say I'm a pro at that at all. But I do have my best friend, my general manager, who also does buy vehicles, and he's probably the best buyer I've ever met in my life. Matt Damos, with a little shout out to him really quick. He's been a mentor of mine since day one. He was actually the guy who trained me the day I got in the business, taught me my 10 steps, did all that. So I got to throw some love to him real quick. So that's what the loan to value is. So based off of that, based off a person's credit is what the bank's going to allow on a loan to value. So a lot of people get into that, like it's just it's impossible. Well, it's tough. It is in the subprime market. And that's what I deal with, since we're talking about that. Because our customer base, they struggle with making payments on their regular life, to include electric bills, medical bills, a lot of things like that. Their average income I see across with subprime credits probably about $2,500 a month that are able to purchase. That leaves you with very little vehicle to sell. So when you're looking at an LTV on a $10,000 vehicle, you get 120%. Now with that, if the person has, let's say in a good situation, $1,000 down, and that's probably true. If anybody who works in the subprime market fully, you're going to see 1,000 as a big down payment in a sense. So when you get that, and then you put that against a car that you buy at an auction, let's say you get it for a couple grand behind what left side is, which is clean book. You get it there. By the time you get it transported, auction fees, conditioned, oil changes, you put it on the lot, you're very close to what the value of the vehicle is. So you're good, and that's what you want to do. And that's the idea of, I think, most people out there buying cars. You want to make sure you're at book or less by the time it hits the lot. But at $10,000, 120 doesn't go that long. That's $12,000 of financing. Now we have to include your taxes, your title, license fees, and then if you're lucky, a subprime bank will allow a certain amount of back end. Some give you guarantee back end, some give you this, so that will jump you up to like 150. And that puts a customer in a bad situation. So, and that's when people go, well, that's unethical, and I get that. It is, if you don't disclose that to the customer and explain what that is and what they're getting into. Ethics, there's some people who are on this line. I know you talk about that a lot, Becky, and I love what you talk about, and you've actually educated me tons on that subject. And it makes me want to be better at that. So, and I have, I strive to be the best at what I do. And I think with LTVs, it just comes down to, yes, you do have to buy the cars right. You have to educate your customer and hope that they have the right down payment. And then the final thing that you really, you just got to explain it. The thing when I talk to a customer, I don't sit there and just try to blow through a contract, or even when we're talking about the vehicle they're purchasing, every step of the way we're explaining it. We're explaining what's going on. And then when we get to a pencil and we're explaining what the cost of this car, what your payments are going to be, there is options, and there's ways to make it.
I think, and I don't mean to cut you off, but we're going to take some comments too, by the way.
Okay.
I'm going to see who's coming in. So I have some coming in from Facebook, from my F&I Today group. So if that's the case, I may not know who that is. Hey, everyone. Good to see you. Mr. Bob Richards. Hey, good to see you. Bob? Laura, there she is.
Hey, I love her. She's so awesome. We just recently connected, and she's got nothing but great spirits going on too. I love it.
She's got some big stores, so tell her the way it gets done. She loves all that good information. Hello, Adam. I'm so glad you were able to make it. And then we got, hey, Becky. Not exactly sure who that is, but I'm sure I'll find out. Douglas, good to see you. Awesome to see you. Glad you could be here. Matt.
That's my guy.
Is he your mentor?
That is my, if I was to say if there was one guy who inspired me the most and who's helped me grow the most, it's Matt Damos, no doubt about it.
Awesome. And look who is in the building. Oh, Mr. Jim Fitzpatrick, CBT is here.
Wow, wow, appreciate you showing up to this.
Yeah.
I actually have a small connection with him and his family from Force Marketing. I used to do, I believe he's connected with them, right? Like his son. Yeah. And I used to use a lot of their marketing for my events and stuff back in the day. I loved them. They were great partnership with them. I had a great partnership.
He's amazing. He's a great guy. I love him to death, him and Bridget. I mean, she is absolutely fantastic. And y'all know that I'm on the F&I Today show with CBT. Y'all know that, right? So a little plug in for me again. And for Mr. Fitzpatrick, thank you so much for being here, Jim. Appreciate it. And then we have, with all the moving parts involved, from buying to selling, selling to borrowing, borrowing to protecting, the margin continues to shrink along with the equity most customers are prepared to utilize. So let's talk a little bit about that, what's going on with that whole thing. And I think there's a lot to be said about that, but I think it's from a trained marketplace. And I believe that we have salespeople who aren't trained up, who are very uncomfortable with their presentation skills, who constantly want to go ahead and deliver the first pencil, if you will, on extended terms at 72 months or 84 months with no money down. Excuse me. And at 0% financing. Got calls coming in from everywhere.
She's hot right now. Everybody wants a little bit of Becky right now. Yeah.
Anthony Santangelo. Good to see you, my friend.
What's up, Anthony?
He is awesome.
Yeah.
Mr. Anthony Santangelo. We've got Rodney Williams is here. Thank you, Rodney. John Fairchild.
What's up, John?
Adam says he's glad to be here. Glad you're here. Jim Fitzpatrick and Bridget Fitzpatrick are awesome. That's correct, Beck. Couldn't agree with you more there, Anthony. Thank you. And so we end up closing the gap on LTVs. So I wonder who that might be. So here's the thing. So I think in some of these cases, you still have an old philosophy out there. You know, I travel about, and I know you do too. And you've been invited into dealerships all over the country. And this is what I hear. You know, we're going to continue to put customers on any car will do. Don't worry about all that stuff. Don't worry about how to qualify a customer. I don't want you qualifying nothing. In fact, some of these dealers might think that they can't even train up a salesperson today. And it's just best not to go there because the more they get trained, the more profit they give away.
100%.
So, right? So we're hearing some of that going on. So you know that. So again, here comes our customers. When you know it, they're on a $50,000 vehicle. They may qualify for $20,000. And now we have sales managers who are on the desk, who haven't been in F&I. And I'm not the bad guy here. I'm just telling you the truth.
Right.
And there's some really awesome sales managers that really know shit. But we also have sales managers who are on the desk, who are submitting deals. We see it all the time. And they're submitting this stuff. They have no idea who their bank niche is. They wouldn't know a bank niche if their life depended on it.
Yeah.
Am I right?
Oh, yeah.
And then we wonder why that deal ends up, it's ugly. It's what you call mind deals. And they somehow pop into that F&I office, like somehow or another, we're going to get this freaking deal done.
Yeah.
And we're going to make all the money doing it. And see, that's why I think that LTV is kind of mixed in with a lot of that stuff that's going on too.
I agree.
Can you talk about that?
No doubt about that. You know, and you know, starting back when you first started talking about all that, the training is so key. You know, fundamentals are so key. Training your people and inspecting what you expect, so key from the beginning of a deal to the end. You know, when your salespeople actually get an opportunity to have somebody in front of them, whether they have good credit, bad credit, no credit, it's an opportunity. You know, it's a numbers game. Everything is a numbers game when it comes to this business. The more you do, the more you get. The more you train, the better your people get. The more you talk to people, the more people get in front of you. The more pencils you present, the more vehicles you sell. It's always going to be that way, but it's just the key. How do you make it a smoother, better process? Well, key is to build your foundation right.
This is probably coming in from F&I Today group. I know it is. And I've got it going on in F&I Today. So that's how it goes down at my store. This one says, and I'm sorry, I don't know your name. Then I switch them to a car. And then once CAC or GM tells us which car they're willing to approve us on. So doesn't that get freaking cumbersome?
Yeah. You know, that's to me, like when it comes to subprime financing, CAC, and I have no disrespect towards them. They help a lot of people that are very desperate. It's better than going to a buy here, pay here all day.
Absolutely.
But CAC, you know, that's my last resort. You know, I don't want to use them unless I have to. And then at that point, you know, I'm going to put them, which I'm so glad that CAC did. I don't know if it's like that nationwide, but with us, we definitely are able to sell them better vehicles at a higher cost, you know, not them like less than $10,000 vehicles with 100,000 miles on them. I'm able to sell what we call, you know, with our group, we call it solution vehicles. And solution vehicles are vehicles like, you know, late model vehicles, less than 30,000, maybe 40 if they're a little bit older, that are going to qualify for really better terms, better rates, that They're also going to be able to, they have a warranty on them. So, you know, I love to sell my extended warranties and all those types of products, but at the same time, it is peace of mind for a customer to know, hey, I can go through CAC and still, even though I'm.
Well, I mean, I get that. And don't get me wrong. Here's, okay. So okay. So here we are, we're trying to sell more cars.
Sure.
And aren't we trying to maximize profit? Aren't we trying to get the customer on the right card that they actually budget for? So that way we don't have to worry about these repos or customers just deciding, you know what, third month, fourth month out, no, I can't handle these freaking payments. These people are nuts. So, or maybe a dealer having to sign full recourse. What I'm getting at, why can't we do business smarter? Why can't we assure that the customer, have some of put a process in place that allows the dealership to be able to qualify this customer based on something rather than nothing. Just put them on a car and then get them into the dealership and we'll do our thing. I want to be careful that I'm not saying, oh, by the way, do you have derogatory credit? So here's a credit application. So there is something to be said about that. We don't want to do that either. But if in the event the customer tells the salesperson during their Q&A, walk through the sale, if you will, that, hey, by the way, I don't have the best credit ever. You know, I've had some credit issues. Is that okay? Oh, yeah, shit, that's okay. Let's just go ahead and land you on a $50,000 vehicle anyway, because you know what? If I bring you into the dealership, my boss is going to get angry. So meanwhile, 3 hours later, after all these stupid test drives, we get a customer to come in and we start all over again.
That's silly. You know,
it happens a lot.
It's ridiculous. It's once again, it's the man. It starts from the top, you know, and I'm sorry. I've been doing this for 17, 18 years. I've never done it that way ever. I mean, from the beginning, the way I was taught, and it's not like, even with people who have stellar credit and they know they could buy or whatever, it's not about that. It's about giving them their best options. So if you, as a sales pro out there, if you're a sales pro watching, I'm telling you that when you talk to a customer, just explain why, you know, like, look, we can go look at a vehicle all day. We can guess what the payment is. We can guess what your terms are going to be. We can guess this. Even with perfect credit, I can assume this or whatever, but we don't really know until we get there. So let's go ahead and get you set up, you know, set you up for success instead of for failure, or for like, man, I wish I didn't look at that truck. Cause it's hard to show somebody a $50,000 loaded out truck. And then you go, and they have to switch them to a $25,000 base model arm buster truck, right? It's very difficult for people to transfer from that to that unless you explain the whole process from the very beginning. But it comes down to training. It comes down to what kind of people you hire. You know, my guys, I'm going to throw love at them, man. I have an amazing team. These guys, that not only, we do not have a BDC. These guys call 80 to 100 leads a day. These guys take these lot ups. These guys take these lot ups from, hey, I'm here just looking to, within 5 minutes, they're inside and they're figuring out what their line of credit is going to look like for them, what they can qualify for that actually fits their budget. So let's say, hey, I want a truck today, but you can't have one today, sir. But what I can do is show you the quickest way possible to be able to develop credit to be able to buy a truck one day. You know, so let's get you into a 4-door sedan, something that's going to be reliable, or maybe a small SUV that's going to fit in your budget that you can afford based off this interest rate you're qualifying for. It's silly to spend $50,000 and get 18 to 20% when you can build your credit up. So by the time that you get to your credit, when it's time to buy that truck, your credit's better. Now you can qualify for a payment that's affordable for the truck that you want, instead of sitting here. And then let's say I do get you approved on that truck and it's really not in their budget, which there's some lenders that will do that, and some finance managers that will allow that to happen, which I think is ridiculous. It should always be within their budget, because the biggest thing you want is repeat and referrals. That's how you stay alive, and that's how you keep moving units and moving metal or whatever. But that's the key. It's really comes down to just training your people, but also being in the trenches with them. I do finance. I could sit in my office all day long if I want to. I'm in there quite a bit of time, but once I'm done, you can ask anybody. I come right up front. I work deals. I'm taking turns. I go outside. I shake hands. My general manager, I have it on a Facebook Live from my lot the other day. He's putting a tag on for a customer because they came in, and they needed their plate. So we put their plate on.
See, that's what we don't get a lot of. And I think maybe during these lean times now, You know, some of us, and I think you mentioned you're in a skeleton crew type environment, and maybe all taking turns of coming home, and then the next team goes in, and some are working the phones and that sort of stuff, and doing what they need to do to stay proactive and fun and being in front of that customer and that sort of stuff. But you know, here again, I go into a lot of different dealerships that, man, you know, they want to increase sales, they want to maximize profits. And the only way that I know how to do that is I get up on the desk too. And it's like two heads are always better than one.
Always.
I'm not there to scare somebody. I don't want to, I'm not looking to, I want to work a deal. I want to get involved. I want to make sure, are we on the right car, you know, from the beginning, if we can, you know, because you're right. It is freaking tough sometimes, you know, customers taking this test drive, falling in love with this car. Now you're going to take them off the car and put them on another car that they can't stand. Give me a freaking break. Yeah. And then you want to know why. We want to know why the customer's not happy. They didn't, you know, they might have ended up taking delivery of a vehicle, but they sure as hell don't like the entire buying experience.
No, they hate it. And most customers hate buyers. I mean, us. They think that we're just liars and cheats, and we're trying to just screw them over, you know, and that's so crazy because really, you know, if you build the right culture, your people are there to be for the people, you know, and that's the brand that I work for.
How do you actually, because there is a fine line, you know, when we have new car dealers, new car franchise dealers, you know, they, in many cases, do you know what they tell me? I don't even want these subprime customers, Becky. You know, they can go down the street. I don't want to deal with it because I don't want to deal with all the BS. I don't want to deal with a confrontation. It's too frustrating. And you know what? Frankly, every freaking time we have a subprime deal, we can't make any money.
That is baloney. That's straight baloney.
No, it's true. And they can't see it. And here's the other thing that I know. I work with a lot of F&I people who are not up on the desk. You know, they're kind of order takers. I mean, back in the day when I was doing F&I, let me tell you something. Sales managers didn't call my deals in. Now, I get it, you know, that, hey, we're going to try to speed up this process. But I'm telling you right now, Hunky Dory, you know, if you don't know your banks, if you don't know what you're doing, I'm not letting you submit my deal. I can tell you that right now because you'll screw it up in a heartbeat freaking second. I'll get sick to death. You'll knock down whatever I could likely have gotten the approval for. I'll likely get more conditional approvals. You know the routine. I mean, it just about drives me absolutely batty. But this is why dealers are like, Beck, I don't really want that subprime business anyway. I'm like, are you kidding me? So I got a story to tell real quick. I got to tell a story about Mr. Bill Gwatney. He's no longer with us, unfortunately. But I remember years back, he's like, Beck, don't worry about this dealership here I just bought. We're just not going to make that much out of it. We're just not. It's predominantly a cash store, and we have 700 and above FICO scores. So I'm out, and I'm shopping. I'm looking around, and I'm like, how are freaking that big? Don't get me wrong, but how can that be? It doesn't stay. You know, I went to the mall, and it just doesn't make any sense to me. Right. So I said, Bill, it doesn't make any sense to me. And so I'm like, how can it be that you only get to your one customers? How is that even freaking possible? Well, right. Becky, it's just the way I said, no, it's not. Something's wrong. Well, anyway, he decides he's going to go ahead and put a spiff for $40 for every write-up. What do you think he found out?
You could write up a lot of stuff.
He was writing up left and right, but here's the thing he didn't have. He was having salespeople broom the deal because they were used to it. They didn't want to deal with it. You know why they didn't want to deal with it?
Oh, I can tell you why. They don't want to collect stips. They don't want to ask for references. They don't want to get insurance with $1,000 deductibles with the lien holder's name on it. I can keep going. Salespeople.
Well, let me tell you why. that was partially, but because the F&I person, because they didn't want to deal with the BS from the F&I guy or gal who said, you know what? Get yourself a real customer who wouldn't know how to go out, do a credit interview if their life freaking depended on it, and find a way to put a deal together. How many times has it been we both looked at a deal and go, oh, shoot, that's a little ugly. And then, but we got out there, we interview a customer and found out the story. That the story really helped to sell the customer, did it not? It made all the difference in the world. So anyway.
It did. And that's something that, you know, not to bring Matt Damos back up, but
here we go again, Matt.
Yeah, dude, I believe, and I've developed into a great desk guy myself, but let me tell you, Matt Damos, he's the one who taught me all that stuff about understanding the story of these people. And to touch on subprime credit customers, they are the most grateful customers you'll ever have. They're the ones who will send you referrals like on the clockwork, if you call them. They're the ones that will come back and buy from you every time and really be loyal because you're the one who showed them and got them something that they didn't believe they can buy. And it's a beautiful thing. I have so many testimonials with customers. I have, a lot of my team members that are out doing it with their customers, and they're taking video. It's in people crying. So man, it's a very, very satisfying job if you do it, but it's extra work, just like anything in life. Anything, if you want something, it takes a little extra work. But when you look at it and you take gratitude every day and you look at it like, man, I am really changing people's lives, and I'm doing it right, and I'm telling them how it is, and they're still doing it, So
I can tell you, I'll finish up with this one, but I also have something to share with you. So anyway, all of a sudden we found out, hey, we have a whole lot of business here that we weren't selling a car to, right? So unfortunately, we had to let go of the F&I person because his mindset we couldn't change. But we got new banks, and we found out real quick. We went from $500 a car to $1,500 a car, and we got our deals funded, and we knew what we were doing. And you know what? It is about a customer relationship. Just because, and here's the thing that hurt, just really made me angry. I won't
right.
But it really made is the fact that I've heard, if I treat that customer right to begin with, they're not bogue. They're not, good. Bad things happen to good people all the time. Look what's happening right now in our country. Let's take a real good look at what's happening in our country. There are a lot of unfortunately, there are going to be a lot of people out of work. So what are you going to do? Wait, and meanwhile, these customers are coming into your dealership, and you're not going to sell them a car. What the frick's wrong with you people? And then not take care of them and make that customer. Hell, I could be one. I'm not right, but hopefully not. But I'm telling you, bad stuff happens to good people all the time. And then you take advantage of someone, and then of course they're going to go ahead and tell every other friends and that sort of stuff. Whatever you do, don't buy a car there. But that if you take good care of that customer now, and you really find the right vehicle that they can afford, I'm telling you, they're like you said, you've got a customer for life.
For life,
you do it the right way. I've got.
They'll bring you breakfast the next morning. I'm telling you, that's just how nice they are. They love you. They love you. They're like,
oh my God. You get your breakfast now. Okay, so we got going forward. The industry is going to need more rounded managers that is versatile, that knows how to have processes that minimize these headaches of subprime, helping dealers learn how to be more profitable. It is not to be prejudiced about who we help. If they're saying yes to us, we want to find out a way to say yes to them. Hello. I don't know how to write that. That's damn good.
I love it. That's such a very profound statement there. Thank you, whoever that was. I didn't see the name, but
it came on the F&I Today group. Sorry, guys.
I heart that, man, because I'm going to tell you that is exactly what needs to happen. I'm not saying that a desk guy needs to come in and package deals and make sure stuff, but it's okay to understand what that is, that process, what it takes, because you have to understand what your finance manager is going through. My whole team understands what I go through. And they definitely make it as easy as possible for me. But they also know I'm going to do the same thing for them. I'm going to fund their deals, and they're not going to hear about the issues in funding unless it's extreme. I'm going to make sure that our customers are taken care of, and they understand everything they're signing, that everything's been disclosed, and everything is wonderful, and they're high-fiving everybody as they're leaving. Well, we're not high-fiving now, but you know what I mean. But we do it, and it's all about the process, and it's a very clear, and everybody has to know that process. I was lucky. I was Army brat. My dad was in the Army. I traveled all over the world, but my dad raised me with processes. This is what you do every single day, and this is how you do it. I joined the military when I first got out of high school and got taught processes. Not only was there processes, but there was a book for everything you did, from making your bed to ironing your shirt. I'm serious. It's a technical order. And so there's a process for everything. And if you understand those processes and you get that basic thing, and your people do too, man, it's unbelievable, because everything else will just come into place. You have to understand that process.
Well, I think that dealers need to sit back, and especially now I don't know. I mean, I sure as heck don't have a crystal ball. I really don't. I mean, I hope things get back to normal. I mean, I really, do to some degree. I want to get back to work. Can't always be hanging out in my office and loving these conversations though. But
me too. I love all the ones you've had so far. They've been very informative. I love them.
Well, I'm going to do more, but I'm telling you right now is that the thing is that, we want to be able to get back to work but are we going to put together a plan where we can meet customers, engage customers earlier on? And what does that look like as far as an online platform? Now, there's various platforms out there, and I really don't care if you're on what platform. I like AutoFi. I happen to like CarNow. I love CarNow. I love the CarNow because, I know where the customer is in that digital journey, right? I know we're the best time, or at least where I think maybe the best time is to engage with that customer, because I agree with Tim Cox. You're not selling cars unless you have a conversation.
That is fact.
Isn't it?
Oh, it is.
If I don't have a conversation, what are we doing?
That was a great show. I love that. He had a lot of great stuff. And that's the basic of it all is, yes, conversation. It's like that in life. I learned that young is whoever can have the best conversation is going to do far, is going to go far. I don't think
we're going to take away by being online with our customers, who we are in our engagement piece. And then I also think it's important that we have that plan. We have that plan put in place from online to in dealership, from online. How does that digital journey look like? How much information can we give the customer the ability to do some of the self-desking earlier on? Does it make sense to do that? And why can't we do that? What's preventing these guys from doing that? And I know some of these guys are very uncomfortable with this stuff. Fred, they are. They don't want to, and here's why, in my opinion. Because I see it from both sides, right? I see it from the conference side, from digital retail, from the digital dealer side. I get it. I go to these conferences. Believe me, I love to drink the juice too. But then I get back into a dealership and it's a completely different environment. And these guys have to buy into tapping into that customer and allowing customers to have the ability to self-desk and have a better understanding of what they qualify before they get into the dealership. And here's the other thing. How about that customer who does that? Customer shows up at the dealership and we're switching customers' cars because we're not making, you picked the wrong car. We're not making enough money on this ship, Becky. We're going to car out. What the hell? That was, no, we were just pretending. You see what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah, I do. But, it's true. With this with what's going on in the world with the COVID-19. Hey, what's up, Richie? So yeah, with the COVID-19, we had to completely retrain ourselves, like mentally first, mentally, like this is so different. We've been so hardcore at my store with, I always tell people your presence is your leverage with your customers. So when they're here, I'm going to give them everything. I'm going to go out, shake their hand. I'm going to make sure they feel like they are loved by everybody in the store. We're going to give them cookies and water and the whole nine, so it's fun. We have popcorn in our showroom. We have music blasting. We have a great culture in there and an atmosphere for our clients. So, but the key is to have them there, because until they get that cup of coffee or that bag of popcorn, until they feel the wheel and seal the deal, it's next to impossible. But right now it's tough. What I've seen is we used to be able to get a customer on the phone, and then within 48 hours they'd be in for an appointment. Now we're looking at about double that time. But the difference is now we are pre-approving customers before they come in because of the new guidelines that the government's put out there. We're trying to keep it where only people coming in can purchase and will purchase, most likely, because we're trying to avoid social, contact and social distancing, a whole nine. But so it's a fine line, So then the customer's like, well, what's my payment? How much did the car cost? What is this and what's that? And those questions are always going to be asked by everybody. So the key in that is to train your salespeople on how to answer those questions without scaring the customer, without deterring them, explaining how to explain. But that, once again, like I said, it's about that foundation. It's about doing that. And we've been able to completely change everything we were doing from getting them here instead of trying to get their credit information. Now we're working on credit information, and then we're working on getting them here. So how do you do that, right? How do you get them to come in? And it's enthusiasm. It's being that person who doesn't do what other people are doing. Virtual walkarounds currently are super hot. I know this is kind of off subject to F&I, but this is for you salespeople out there. Virtual, they are so hot right now. And I have a team. I'm going to throw them a shout out. The Dream Team, Patrick. They're two guys that teamed up at our store, and they call themselves the Dream Team.
Awesome.
They are doing, check them out on social media. They are crushing the game right now. They are doing everything from testimonials they're actually doing video follow-ups, and they're sending them follow-up video, especially in this atmosphere where they can't shake their hand or thank them in person, all that type of stuff. So they're doing a lot of innovative stuff. But anyway, but that's what it comes down to, just being different, giving them Tony Melito, he's the owner of the store I work for, the group I work for. Man, you want to talk about a car guy that's innovative and always forward thinking. Amazing. Just everything. He's taught me a lot. Since I've been with him, I've really changed the way I think about selling vehicles. It went from selling cars to solving transportation problems. And he's a great dude. And I'm telling you.
I'm writing that down. I'm taking it.
but it's true. And it's all about that. So when you're able to give them the Starbucks, like, hey, that's what they're getting instead of the coffee from the gas station.
Anybody can show a car maybe, but you know what? It is the ultimate experience, right? Why do I want to buy a car from you? Why are you different? What do you do different than the other guy down the street is doing? So I want to talk a little bit about, how do dealers do a better job, especially today, more so than ever before. And I'm going to go back because I know, some of these guys don't like to talk about this, but how is it that, how do we verify this income? And here again, I'm working on a couple things. I've got a couple things I'm working on.
I bet you do.
Taking I believe in the complete online process. I think that customers are not going to want to sit in a dealership all day buying a car. I just don't.
Not anymore, especially now.
I'm not doing it. I don't really care. I don't care. I might have a vulnerable family member, whatever the situation is, but frankly, I'm just not going to do it. And I do see where the online experience is going to be, we're going to all have to get on it.
It's going to blow up.
I think so. I really do. And I've been trying to my glass is always half full. But at the same token, we still need to work smarter, and we want to make sure that, remember these dealerships, and maybe you're one of them, I don't know, that do spot deliveries and, without the steps in hand. And I tell you today, talk a little bit about that, because you know what? Today may not be the day to do that.
No more.
No more, Becky. Not for right now, anyway.
No, that is one of those fine lines. I try to keep everything uniform in my store. My guys know that if the deal is not fundable when they want to take the car, you're not taking the car. Now, that on the other hand, let's say that it's proof of residence, okay? And I know that the customer has proof of residence and they're going to get it for me, but somehow we get online, we can't print it off, it's not working, and I've done everything, and my salesperson showed me this. I have a paycheck that shows their address on there, their driver's license is current and has the exact address on it, but the bank doesn't, because some private banks they won't take that for proof of residence. Yeah. Then at that point, I'm going to make a judgment call based off of what my salesperson's done for me lately. If the guy constantly has missing steps, has customers that take a week before they come pick up their car because they couldn't get me proof of residence or proof of income or insurance, then at that point, I'm going to be like, man, your customer is going to have to wait. And I hate to say that. It's not about the customer to me at that point. It's about because I put that all on my salespeople, believe it or not. They don't get paid.
Ooh, so here's what happens in the other world that I live in. Right?
Yeah. Yeah.
It just drives me absolutely freaking crazy. Here's a sales manager who's made a decision, go ahead and spot the deal without the freaking steps, and who's chasing them?
I am every time, but then I'm officially responsible for it. But, it's a team thing, and it starts from the top. When I have missing steps, I have a deal folder, and if you on the front of it has like everything checked off, right?
Let me tell you what I would be doing. It's not the freaking no. I can't stand folders. You know why? Folders lose shit. And
I like that.
You know what? I mean, you don't see it, and seeing is believing. You got to get it. I believe in a board. I still do. I'm old fashioned in that regard, and that board is going up. And let me tell you something. I'm holding every single manager accountable. And if I've got steps, let me tell you, your name's on it too, kiddo. Because you know what? It's not all me.
You're right.
And that salesperson and the manager and both and all three. I don't care. But you know what? I'm not doing it in a folder. They're going to see that they've got a step. And you know what? They're holding up freaking funding.
Yep.
Sales managers and F&I people, they got to work together. And the reality of it is, I ain't your cleanup person.
Yeah, exactly.
No, I mean, I'm not your babysitter. Get your stuff in and get it done right. And send your salesperson out there, whatever you're going to do. You're the one who had to go ahead and have the brass balls to go ahead and put it out there. You need to take some freaking ownership of it.
And that's exactly right. I'm very fortunate. Once again, it comes down to fundamentals. It comes down to the basics. My guys understand that when customers come in, everything is available. I'm talking proof of residence is online. Bank, you can get pay stubs online. You can get everything can be done you can print all that off at the store. Why are you going to let them leave? As a salesperson, when I was on the floor, when I was there, I remember, and this is before the internet was really super hot, before bills were online, before I can get bank statements online, I would literally ride with the customer to their house and get all that stuff because I knew that I was not getting paid unless I had all those steps in house, and they wouldn't be able to take the car. And worst thing, and everybody nowadays, I mean, I've seen so many people. I've talked to tens of thousands of people that have been in front of me over the years. And so now I'm not scared of a no. You know, I'm not worried about somebody telling me, well, I'm not buying the car then. I'm like, okay.
Have you ever been to California?
Oh yeah, of course.
Where do you live now? Where are you?
I'm in the beautiful bluegrass state of Kentucky.
Love Kentucky. Yeah. I love it. I love Kentucky. Hey guys in Kentucky, y'all know who I am too. But here's the thing, California dealers, I mean, they're always thinking they're different than everybody else across the board. We do things a little bit different, Becky, and they'll do all sorts of crazy stuff. And you know what? And it's just blows me away because they never get this stuff back and we never get the deals funded. And they think, I'm putting the customer out in the marketplace. That's where they belong. We're going to put them in a car and we'll worry about this stuff later on. And meanwhile, we have half deals that make no sense that they're going to come back. We got to recontract anyway. And it's just brutal. It really is. So, I mean, I don't know if I've got some California dealers here or not. I hope you're on this call or this Facebook Live, but I got to tell you, you're out there and I know it. And we do these 20 groups and it's like, this is how we do our business. And I'm wondering, buddy, I wonder right now if that's exactly how you feel or you have the other F&I person, bring it on, baby. Let's do this stuff. And they float the loan.
That's crazy.
So they float the paper is what I meant to say. So they'll purposely send the deal to the bank, knowing full well they've got 20 days. To go ahead and get the steps in house and get the deal funded. Meanwhile, so the dealer goes, all right, I've got 20 days before I get my deals funded. Meanwhile, they forget all about it and deals come back and they got a mess in their hands. Do you see any of that going on?
I do see that. I see it with dealers here local. I'll keep going back to it. It's the basic, it's the fundamentals, it's the process. When your guys understand what's going on, like I tell you, 90% of the time when my salesperson has a credit app, it has all those steps already. That's fact. On average, we do at my store, and this isn't huge numbers, but it's big, 120 pre-owned vehicles.
That's big. That's
I'd
good.
say, and I touch every one of them. I'm also going to touch about 80% of that's going to be subprime. So I have to have a process or I'd go crazy. I have gray hairs here that I've developed over the last. What's up, Justin? I appreciate you jumping on here. I just interviewed him the other day. Check out for that's coming out Monday, guys.
Awesome.
He's a great, awesome GM down there south. If you guys don't know who he is, he's killing it down at Boniface Kia. He just became a GM at the beginning of the year. Way to go, Justin. Way to go. Keep growing. But what up, Patrick? That's the one half of the dream team I talked about.
Oh, there's Patrick. Okay.
But no, it does. It comes down to that process, explaining and being able to have your guys all on board. So it's easy for me to say, just do this, but it's been I've been at the store for 7 years. It's been development. It's been teaching this process and explaining this process to my guys from the beginning, and them all being on board. It's been really a beautiful thing to see it grow and blossom. We've had our ups and downs. We've had to change our process a little bit, do this a little differently, but we adapt every time, and like we are right now. So that's
do you
it.
see this? You see this online growing? Do you see it taken on? What do you see to the dealers in New York right now? I mean, New York dealers are going through some hell.
Oh man.
And they are really more or less locked down. I have to talk to a few more dealers here in Georgia, but really New York has had it tough. And so they're doing home deliveries, or doing curbside deliveries. And I think some of them are doing more curbside than home deliveries, because there's some there's some compliance things.
Oh yeah, like they can get out of a contract within 7 days, all kinds of crazy stuff. Yeah, and some banks won't let you unless they're at the store. Now you could do it. You could do it on the hood or whatever they call it. So you have to make sure. That's one of those things. You have to know your bank's programs. Some banks are okay with it. It still complies, but for the most part, there's a lot of banks that are not cool with that. Like just going to their house and signing them, or sending them in the mail and then them signing it, bringing it back. There's so many things that you have to understand and know that process with the lender that you're choosing to use for your client. So if you know their process, and you should, if you've been doing it longer than a month, then you should be able to it's all online. If you're on DealerTrack, just print that. Everything you need to know how to fund one of their deals is right there. Everything.
Well, you speak about that, because here's the thing. Some of these guys are going through the pain because they don't have really a digital platform, or they have it and never used it before. And so they're very uncomfortable with that whole thing, and how to, again, engage the customer through digital means. And of course, they don't have a camera on their computer, so therefore they can't really engage with the customer via their desktop, which I think is a great way to be able to share my desktop, share my menu, that sort of thing, and communicate that way with the customer, just like what we're doing right now on Zoom, whatever. I mean, what the hell? And then walk that customer right through the buying, verifying the information, that sort of stuff. I mean, we can do all that online. The other thing that I will share with everyone is I've got this.
You go, Laura. Way you tell it.
I do. Laura, let me tell you, you need to call me, because I'm telling you guys, here's what I got. I've got a platform. It's not my platform, but I will tell you, I know people that this individual has actually created a way to electronically deliver all the paperwork, everything, through the entire deal electronically.
Ooh,
the entire thing. I've got 2 wire. Yeah. And I'm telling you, this thing is amazing. And it's not just a DocuSign. We're talking all the documents, including the finance contract. And I'm also talking about how he's created these safety features, so that way you can't mess up. And it really helps you to reduce a lot of the errors. And so, like, for example, some banks will, like TD, wants the bundle package in line 1 as opposed to line 5. So alarms you that, oh, by the way, you're trying to put it in line 5 instead of line 1, that kind of stuff. Right. And that's the stuff that you're sending out to customers. Let's face it, happens all the time. Dealers are spending how much money on FedEx charges, right, to send these packages to the customer's home, and the information's not right anyway. It goes back to the customer's home. It goes back to the dealerships. Oops. We don't have the right signatures. Oops, by the way, we screwed this up. Back out it goes again to the customer. So it alleviates all of that.
Oh, yeah.
And now the customer's signing electronically, and also it verifies and does an ID verification. I can't give you any more information than that, but I'm telling you right now, it is a big game changer.
Oh, it is. That's, and we were talking about this earlier, in the future, when it goes back to normal, and it will, we're going to eventually be back to normal. But this part of the business, the digital side of it, people buying from home, it's not going away, and there's going to be more of it. So it's a chance for you to get that market share of that in your community. So if you get on this now and you start today, if you start today and you start doing the things that no one else are doing, it may feel weird today, but 3 months from now, when this is all said and done, you're going to be the best in your area at it. And it takes about 3 months. So
Patrick Jennings says virtual walkarounds are game changers now too, Fred.
He's right. He is 100% closed with every virtual walkaround he's done this week. and last
Is he?
Yeah. So he's on fire right now.
He knows how to do it. Awesome.
Yeah. And he has and the customers love it. They'll say, they always respond with, "I've never seen something like this before. That's so cool," but he also brings, it's him. You can go out there, and if you just do hey, this is the front door, and if you open it up, they're not going to like that. But Patrick goes out there with so much energy. It's like, you could hear him from inside the building.
Well, he does virtual walkarounds, a virtual.
Yeah.
He's doing these virtual walkarounds. He's doing it online.
He's doing it with Zoom meeting. And it's awesome. Like, even on that, you could put features, you could show him stuff on there. You could show him paperwork on there that's on your phone, or if you're on a computer, you could do the same thing. It's screen sharing, and it's the technology's out there, and we all need to use it. I'm just now starting to learn it, but my mind's already blowing up. Like, I need to use all this stuff. I can't wait to use it, so.
Here, Ken, it's kind of interesting. We have all this technology, but you know what? Frederick, we don't use it.
No.
It's idle. It collects dust, and it's like one of those things that a dealer comes back from an NADA and goes, "Hey guys, look what I've got! I love this stuff. This is freaking awesome, man. We're gonna hook up. We're gonna make this thing rock." And then next thing you know, what happens?
It just sits on the shelf, and just collects dust.
I'm sorry.
And that's facts. And one of the things that my Tony Melito, the owner of the store, he always says this, a lot of people, when they find something that works and then they stop using it. And it's kind of like that, but they never understood it. So that's probably why they don't use it in that situation. But I'm guilty. I think every one of us is guilty of something new coming out and being like, nah, I don't know. I don't want to use that. It's extra work. But if it's only extra work for the first week or two, and then after you get used to it, it's normal. Just like waking up and doing, if you started just using a planner for the first time is confusing. And you're like, how do I use a planner? And then once you use it, you're addicted. Like, I'm addicted. I've been using planners for 3 years straight now, and I can't everything. I think I use 3 planners at one time. I'm weird, but I have goals.
No, I think that, this is something that we have to at least understand, that just because technology sounds like, hey, it's an awesome thing, we've got to create buy-in for everyone. You can't just have this online platform, whatever it may be, Roadster, whoever, AutoFi, TagRail, any one of these guys, and then it not, it align with your in-dealership workflow. It's not going to work. You're not going to be successful. And I can tell you how many automotive groups that I've talked to that said, "Becky, they cost me more sales than they made." We got rid of them. They got rid of them because it didn't align to what they do. Every platform provider is different in what they offer. So how does that provider, how do they align with the dealership in what you do and how you do your business? That's what you've got to look at, because this does this, and just because this did that for that dealer doesn't make it's going to make it work for you. So for an example, digital retail, digital menus. And I'm telling you right now, that gets me, I get all sideways about this digital menu.
I know you do.
Oh, I really do. Here's why. Because not everybody uses them. And you know what? I don't care. I'm not selling you a digital menu. I'm selling you the concept behind it. Right. I like menu selling. I think it's easier than packing payments. And I think it's, maybe, but no, but step selling, definitely. And it's just very user-friendly. I like it. But when you put an iPad in someone's hand and says, "Go at it, this is going to make you money. It's going to drive that performance." No, it doesn't work that way. It just doesn't. Some of these F&I people just don't get it right away. It's uncomfortable. It's like, I've got my paper menu, and Becky, that's what I like. And that's what I'm using. They can take that digital menu and they can, with it. Until you get used to it. Come on, that's the reality of it, isn't it, Fred?
It's 100% it, and you're so right. And one thing I hope, something that has been my mantra. What's up, Justin, again? But one thing that's been my mantra all year, especially this year, it's been, not everybody is us, like me. Nope, not everybody's me. I can't talk to somebody and expect them to understand it the way I understand it. I can't train somebody to do a job and expect them to do it exactly the same way I do it. Or even at the level, some of us have this thing that we're able to do, and we're and I don't like to call it an X factor because everybody has their own thing. Everybody has a way if they just unleash it and they find a way to untap what they have and just use it for their best. My thing happens to be that I'm good at the car business, and I love helping people. And I think the number one thing I'm best at is helping people. I love it. I do it for free. I like everything I'm doing online right now. I'm not trying to make a dollar from it. Money is a byproduct of doing the right thing over and over and over and over. Whether it's in your career or with your life, you will always be okay if you just keep doing it and just keep understanding that you have to constantly grow. But that's the key.
Well, I think it is. And, just because I think things come to you in other ways, because if you give, you receive. And I truly believe in that. Just like me. I mean, with these Facebook Lives that I've been doing lately, it's like, why am I doing it? Well, I'm proactive. And these are conversations that I really get into, really turn me on. And I love, talking about what are we doing with this Ev and I online. I want to talk about the subprime stuff. I mean, this is who I am. This is who I live and breathe by. And when I can get people like you on here with me and really dig deep in the trenches, in the real world, let me tell you something. I just get so frustrated. Don't get me wrong. I like going to conferences and they're fun. They're great. And I love to hear the experts in the industry and they're freaking amazing. And I do. I love all that. But at the end of the day, when I got to go back into a dealership and it's like deaf ears all over again, it's freaking frustrating. Yeah. So what I want to talk about is the real world. I want to talk about how do we make changes in the trenches, that it matters, that people are lighting up and going, holy crap, you actually get me? You actually get my pain that I've been going through every day of my life? Yeah. Finally, somebody's talking about how to make a better impact for me and my life and really help me to make a bigger difference in my F&I performance, sales performance, sales management performance, right? All variable operations performance. Yeah. That's what it's freaking all about. Justin says, you do not want to be on the wrong side of this curve.
He's so right. You do not want to be.
He is one heck of a, I'll tell you, he's amazing. He never takes no for an answer. Lou Ramirez, always a Facebook user in here. I don't know what that is. Gold, Justin says, what made Baskin Robbins great was how they advertised. So 31 flavors. So we have a way to serve everyone, especially now. CGC, is that who?
That's Car Guy Cafe. That's my Facebook group. Yeah.
Your Facebook group. Okay.
My guess that's my dude on there, Lou. So he's probably just throwing out some love real quick.
That's awesome. But now he's made a valid point there.
But he's right. Like when you talk about the menu selling earlier, a moment ago, and you talk about the digital menu, it's beautiful. And when you show them, the thing is you're giving them options. Most people logically will pick one option. They'll find one and the one they like the most and they'll pick it. Maybe they won't, but if you give them the right, like you sell the product the right way, you explain what the benefit of it is, why it's important to have it, especially in today's world with the cost of, vehicle repairs and et cetera, all the way to why Gap is important. The option is there. They can say no, but then they understand that maybe if I say no, it's not right. I need to say yes. So that's why it's so powerful. It's just giving them the options.
I was really kind of just saying, again, I'm a believer in the concept behind it, but I'm just saying that, when we go from technology and, we try to, bring it on, not everybody buys in. And if a paper menu makes you successful, have at it. What I mean? Get over it. I've seen where dealers spend $14,000, $15,000, $20,000 on a DocuPad.
Oh yeah.
At the desk, right? I like it. It's a hell of a nice tool. Problem is that some of these F&I people bypass most of the stuff, don't even use it, and still print out their menu. So it's like, you gotta be freaking kidding me. You just spent $15,000 and your F&I person is still printing out a menu.
That's a fancy, I've seen those, I've only been in a store and I've seen it. I've never actually used one personally as a manager, but wow, that thing is impressive though. It's really neat.
It's cool. It's a great picture, but I think you got to get more people involved in that pretty picture. And here's the thing here's the thing about that whole thing. it's all fine and dandy if a customer's sitting in your F&I office, but if they're not sitting in your F&I office, what good does it do? So, I mean, don't get me wrong, but
That's fair, but it's so true. You don't. It's like the old saying. We tell our salespeople, well, I have in the past. I haven't said it in a long time, but you're really not employed unless you have somebody in front of you. So
it's like, so what's going to get you in front of customers? What gets them in? When you take these appointments, how do you engage with that customer? What options do you show the customer earlier on, even before they make their way to that curbside delivery? Right. And so that's something that I would, certainly advise F&I people, get a camera, put it on your laptop, put it on your dealership desktop, and start doing these webinars and start engaging with customers and start thinking outside the box. There's no more walls.
Nope.
Right?
Yeah. And it's what an opportunity right now. And I know a lot of people are like, yes, it sucks. The whole world is going through what we're going through right now. It's not just your store. It's not just my store. It's not just you. It's everybody. So we all, but it's a great time to get innovative and try something new. See what you can do to get a client to come in right now. See what you can do. Don't get shady and don't do stuff that's unethical, and don't do stuff that's going to make you look like a jerky 3 months down the road. Do it the right way. Be innovative, help people, do virtual stuff, get online, use a camera. I mean, the technology's here, and 90% of what you can use for technology is free. I mean, you have to buy the camera and have the phone or whatever, but a lot of this stuff, a Zoom meeting, unless you want to, you become like a big time Zoom meeting person where you could pay for a service, but it's pretty much free. So use it but the key is just to start using it now, because it's going to feel weird at first.
Well, I think too, here again, back in the day, and some of you guys that saw some of my Facebook stuff before know that back in the day I was Wonder Woman. And
you still are.
I know. No, just kidding. But as Wonder Woman, we used to advertise called Wonder Woman. And people would call me up and go, well, if I come in there right now, I'm going to see Wonder Woman, right? I said, oh, you bet you will. But these were the days, my friend. But I'll talk about getting anything. I mean, to tell you, we had some great banks. But here's the thing. They used to kid me. Becky, I don't know who you get me buy these deals, but these customers are like almost in their... Anyway, but here's the difference. The difference was I was able to talk to the customer earlier on, engage with the customer earlier on. I did all my fact finding earlier on, even before they made their way in that dealership.
Bingo. That is so key.
That's what I'm saying. Why wouldn't you want to go ahead and make sure that the customer has some of this, gets some of the self-desking, heavy lifting out of the way, make sure that they actually budget for the vehicle that they want, have some idea of what they freaking qualify for before they make their way in the dealership. Why wouldn't you want to do that? See, that's what I don't get. Help me understand that one.
No, I honestly just think that it's just because they're old. This process worked for years. I've been doing this since the 90s. I've been doing it since the 2000s. This is the way I was taught. It's the only way I know. That's crazy.
Can I ask you a question? I know we're dying. We're getting there. We're an hour in, and I do. But this conversation is so good. But let me ask you a question. Do you think that maybe these dealers or F&I, do you think maybe they're not doing it because they think it's actually going to cost them profit?
Yeah, maybe. I think that's just because they've heard from, it's just like anything else. When you hear bad stuff, it spreads like wildfire. Good stuff, it barely spreads anywhere. So when they hear one person say, oh, I tried it, it just didn't work. My salespeople hated it. Everybody wanted to quit or whatever. It makes them so negative towards a new process.
I think dealers don't. Okay, here's how I feel. I feel like dealers are saying, hey, we put our inventory online. We didn't like it. And we sure as hell didn't like putting our pricing online, but we did it anyway. We couldn't help ourselves. We have to stay competitive in the marketplace. But I'll be damned if I'm going to go ahead and put my financing online.
Yeah. I think it's the old feeling that, you only can sell somebody if they're inside, but at the store or if they're on the lot or whatever. But, with like we said, it's the world's going to go back to normal, but the social distancing thing, I think for a little while is going to be there. And I think and there's going to be people who are going to be paranoid for the rest of their lives about that stuff. So once again, there's going to be a new market share there that that's all people are going to do. It's the Carvana people. I've been saying this to my salespeople. Let's steal Carvana business. Let's do it. Let's just get crazy with it and just do everything where it's seamless and done all online or on phone. And it's just boom. And then they buy the car. The difference that they'll get from Carvana is they're going to get a personal salesperson that's going to take care of them after the sale. They're going to get.
Yes.
Yeah, and they're gonna have somewhere where they feel like if they have a problem, they can call instead of just being like, this is somebody from a call center that I have no idea who it is. Now they have a point of contact for all that type of stuff. And so, but we can do it and still do what they're doing in a way and take some of that share back to us.
You make a valid point, and I'm not the one who brought it up. Notice who brought it up. It was you, not me. And I got to tell you, when I bring that topic up on LinkedIn, I get thousands of hits on Carvana and CarMax. But, here again, these guys have figured it out. I mean, they have. They have. And, everyone's saying, well, they're not going to be successful. Are you kidding me? They're not going to be successful. CarMax isn't going to be successful. And, CarMax also puts their financing online.
Oh yeah, they do.
Right? And you can do a curbside delivery all day long. They'll take the vehicle to your home. They don't care. And you know what? They're very, very obviously very successful. They sell a lot of freaking pre-owned vehicles, and they have been in front of that curve for a long time now.
Oh yeah.
But there's a lot of F&I people, dealers out there. Let's not kid ourselves, who think that Carvana is not going to thrive, that they're losing colossal amount of money, that it ain't going to happen. There's no way it's going to stay in business. There's just no way. And they said the same. They told me, don't even bring up Jeff Bezos, Becky. I don't want to hear that. I said, well, he was, everybody said he wasn't going to be successful either. Now look at him. So
that's so funny. I was going to bring that same guy. I was going to say Jeff Bezos did the same thing. I was exactly what I was going to say. So, and you're right. I am not a hater of Carvana. Man, I think they have a great product. I think they have a great process. I think it's very clear and transparent. Everybody knows what to expect. They have a clientele that loves that, right? That's fine. But not everybody loves it that way. And that's why we are essential. We're going to be doing what we do, and we're going to keep doing it forever and a long time, I think. But we have to also give into the fact that you have to get more digital, because the world is getting digital. Gary Vaynerchuk, I don't know if anybody pays attention to what he talks about, but that's all he talks about. Social media, using technology, being part of it, he says he doesn't read books anymore. He literally just reads Twitter accounts and reads this to know what's going on in the world.
Well, I'll tell you, you're going to get beat up on this Carvana thing. Laura Berman is saying, Fred, I'm going to call you about Carvana. I have some interesting information.
Absolutely.
I don't know what that interesting information is myself. You might want to try and call me too. But well, you got to know everything first. No, but I'm just saying, I don't know. But here's how I look at it. It's like it is successful. Whether or not, it's this company that stays in business. How many times has it been one company that may go out of business, but another company takes it on and makes it a big time success?
Oh, wow.
So I think the genie's out of the bottle. Mm-hmm. Right, wrong, or indifferent. I don't care, if this Carvana sticks it out, what they do, how they do it. The bottom line, the formula's there. Yeah. It's there. And it's been proven without a shadow of a doubt. They're at least 2019, number 8 volume retailer, used car retailer in the USA. Now you got to tell me, that's got to be some success there with that.
That's huge success.
I mean, come on. So, all right, people, you might be right. Maybe they are a colossal loser but if in fact the investors stay with them. But I'm just saying the genie has already been let out of the bottle. The formula's there, and maybe if not them, somebody else will come in and perfect it. But the reality of here's what I think too, and is that they've got a hell of a BDC. They really have the best dialed in BDC known to man. They know how to answer those questions. They know. They don't stick around and go, oh, wait until you come into the dealership and we can talk about these questions. What do you mean I have to wait till I come into the dealership to talk about what the interest rates are? Well, we don't know. Well, you have to just come back into the dealership and talk about all this shit. So they address those specific questions that the customer has. And so they are the bomb when it comes to a phenomenal BDC center. Let me tell you something. What you should do is you should be a mystery shopper and check it out. They are the best in the business when it comes to their BDC department. They got this.
I might have to try that tonight. Seriously, that's pretty interesting. I'm very curious.
Phenomenal. Carvana isn't that great. The concept is great. I don't know who said that. Sorry, probably from F&I Today group. We can figure it out and do it bigger and better. Yes.
Hey, how you doing, Angela?
Yes, she's so right. We can. That's what I don't get. Why the hell wouldn't you put digital retailing on your website and control the business, not allow a third party to control your business? What the hell are you doing? Again, the other reason why I like Car Now, because we're not sending those customers to a third party chat provider. It's in-house. It's all in-house, and we're always in-house addressing customer questions, not some freaking person who hasn't been trained up, who couldn't answer, whether or not I serve water or not. I don't know. Third-party chat providers is just stupid. And how many times has it been? Don't get me going. See, here we go again. On websites. How many times do you go on these websites? They're hard. There's no invitation to a customer to be able to self-desk. Nothing along those lines. And then you've got these, just chat pop-ups everywhere, to the point where it's so freaking annoying, I have to get out. And then when I go ahead and I'm like, okay, all right, we'll play. It takes 2 minutes to get an answer from the chat. And then they go, oh, by the way, why don't you just come on in the dealership? Sure, I'm going to come in. So I think that we've got to figure this out. We've got to figure it out. And we have got to mystery shop, and we've got to look at other websites, and we've got to be more proactive and make it happen. Give customers, that website has to be your showcase. That is your dealership too. Matthews, people are the difference. That's your Matthew Damas. Damas, I said that right. Hi, y'all. Michael Jarman. Do you know Michael Jarman? Mr. Turbo Pass is here.
I think we recently connected, yeah.
But you got to connect with this guy. Let me tell you something about Mr. Michael Jarman. If you're going to be doing digital, which I highly recommend that you do, one way or the other, he don't care how you do it. But I'm just saying, he can actually, his system, his platform, what he does is that his application verifies customers' information, identity, and income verification, and via the bank's sources by invitation, and you never have to worry about another paper step again. It is phenomenal. It is smart. It is great. Now, if you decide that you didn't kind of like what they were telling you, you can certainly use your paper steps. But
I'd rather it all be digital. It's so much easier, Not to mention it's better for the planet.
It is better, but it's a better way to go. So you need to check him out. They suck. No mobile. First one's built 20 years ago. Annoying. What could she be talking about?
Maybe Carvana?
Carvana? No. Not mobile. First one's built 20 years ago. Annoying. So many dealerships are stuck in she's talking about dealership websites.
Gotcha. She's right. I know exactly what she means. That's right.
Yeah, I think so. And I can't, again, I know we've oh my gosh, we've kept you on here, dealership website, their websites. Yeah. But I think we had a great conversation. I can't thank you enough, Frederick, for being on here with me today. I knew it was going to be. We had a late start because of the technology problems.
We solved the problem, though. That's what we do. We bring solutions.
Hey, you know what? What have we said? Stuff happens.
It does.
I think sometimes you guys quit sweating it so much. You know what I mean? And it all works out in the end. And that's what we did. We got this thing working, and we had a great Facebook Live, and we're all good for it. And I hope we can get to do that again. And Angela wants you to do this once a week now.
I'll come anytime that you want me back on your show. I'm happy to be on a Facebook Live, anything that you want. I always enjoy watching what you have to say. So it's a pleasure to be on here. I had a great time. I love all the comments. And Lou, you're right. We're going to keep brewing solutions. And that's what I do. So, and I know that's what you're doing. I think that the way we're all connecting our communities right now, and that's what it is, people from all over the country. You've been doing it for years now, Becky, connecting communities. And I love that the communities it went from small communities to one large one now. And I think that if we can all put our heads together by the end of all what's going on right now, we are going to be the baddest car people on the planet in our little community, in our big community. But it's going to be awesome. And I'm excited to see what happens. Just everybody keep growing. That's what I always say. # keep growing and keep doing your thing.
Yeah. Again, I think it's always best figure out, as many years as I've been in this industry, right? I mean, I'm getting older, although ask me my age and I'll lie to you. But the thing is there were times, where I thought, man, I just know it all. I just freaking know it all. And then I realized, oh shit, I don't know as much as I think that I know. And there's always a time to always have your eyes and your ears open to new ideas. And if you just do that alone, it's amazing, what you find. It really is amazing what you find. I mean, I found some great content from F&I people that are in the seats, and I'm like, oh, okay, well, I'll just have to take that.
I mean, I've learned stuff from my guys that I'll have a salesperson walk up to me and we're talking about a deal, and I think it's not a deal, and he'll give me an idea, and then it's just like, boom, there's a car deal now. So you got to learn from everybody. It doesn't matter what position they're at. Everybody has an idea, and if you can find the right idea and just make it blossom, it's a beautiful thing. It really is. So.
And I do. And I think you guys need to try it on. And I don't think that you need to be scared of the subprime. Bad things happen to good people all the time. And, this attitude about, hey, they're a bogue, and likely they have, probably customers who have derogatory credit, don't even know anyone with good credit, is ridiculous. I mean, that is about as dumb as it gets. That's as dumb as it gets when someone tells me, you know what, Becky, our customers aren't on the internet. Are you kidding me?
What?
How is it that your customers aren't on the internet? That's what they say. I'm like,
that's a lot.
My God, that is about this crazy.
It's because you're not. It's because they're not on the internet.
Well, maybe because they're not on the internet, right?
Yeah, that's why.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
Angela, thank you for the comment, by the way. I'm glad that it got your mind off not getting one out today. You'll get one tomorrow. Keep pushing hard. Don't just keep telling your customers what's up. They're going to come in. Trust me.
I think people need to learn from other people that are in the trenches. And I think it's always good. I get in there and I got to tell you, I take deals. And I know some of you guys are like, you do? Well, I'll tell you, if I don't, then it doesn't keep me, I don't know. I mean, obviously then I won't be, it makes me stale. So yeah, I started taking more deals. I get involved, and we have an absolute fantastic blast. I mean, sure. And I'm not always perfect. I mean, stuff happens all the time, but you know what? When you get in there, when you're up at the desk and you're involved and you start the deal and you look at a credit, and I'll tell you, this is so true. I mean, I can tell you how many times I've looked at a credit bureau and I've said, there's no freaking way. This is not a deal. This is not happening. I don't know how many times, right? We're guilty of it. Yeah. But when I take a turn and I meet customers out at this salesperson's desk where F&I people need to be, or online, well, I'm not even kidding anymore. I'm over it. Online, get that freaking camera, get on there and start talking to your customers and dealership and find a way to get the deal approved one way or the other. And hopefully it's not, don't get me wrong, I like CAC. But if I can go ahead and get that deal done through my finance company, OEM, all day long. How many times have I taken a deal and I flipped it over to a lease? I have. And you know what? Everybody in there, and they're like, I can't believe you did that. You can't believe I did that because you've never tried it before.
Yeah, that's so true.
I mean, come on, quit doing this stuff. that's the first place you need to be going. Having that bank relationship with your manufacturer, your OEM. I mean, that is the first. And you've got to be able to understand how they buy a darn deal. And they want the story. They want to buy the story. Give them a reason to do it. And or who are your other bank relationships and how important is that? And that goes for independents too, for crap's sake.
Absolutely.
Know what you're dealing with and get out there on the desk, do those interviews, get involved early, and the magic comes together, doesn't it?
It does. And like you said, build relationships with your lenders. I have some of the best reps out there. I love them to death. They come by the store, and anytime they bring me anything, I don't care if it's a pen, I'm going to post that online for them, let them know how much love, how much I appreciate that. So that's how they go the extra mile on your funding for you, how they get you that 2% off your interest rate so you can try to help your customer get you a payment that's more affordable. Because they'll go that extra mile if you go the extra mile. Facts.
And I'll tell you another thing too, as much as y'all don't want to hear this, I work with my salespeople. Here's what F&I people don't do enough of. How many times have I said, let's get in, and you know what? I blame this on the culture in the dealership.
Mm-hmm.
Culture in the dealership is coming from the GM. He doesn't want them involved. He's like, I'll handle all this, or she, I'll handle this whole thing. We don't need you. But if you're a manager, you're a leader, and you need to be a part of those meetings, and you need to be a part of the training. And that feedback and input is so very important. And if you don't have a chance to do that, then it's one-on-one. And we just need to get involved and get working smarter. We just do.
I agree. That's
that relationship that is so important. That salesperson should never have to come into your F&I office and look at you, and you give them that look like, what the frick are you doing here? Or I've got this deal. It's not the best. Oh, for crap. Go get yourself a real deal, will you?
No.
Here's this poor guy's been busting his butt for 2 hours on the, however, whatever.
Took him 2 days to get the customer in, and been trying to do everything. And it's a mini, but hey, I did everything I could, boss. It's the best I could do. High five that dude.
Exactly. And instead, hey, okay, well, you know what? If not this, the next deal, but we're going to make your life a whole heck of a lot easier. And preach it, sister. Anyway, I just wanted to make that end on a solid note, I guess. And thank you again, Frederick. I really appreciate you being here. And y'all, it's been nice. Thank you for being here. And I wish you all the very, very best and through this whole thing.
Y'all be safe out there.
Thank you, Ken. And we're going to go ahead and we're going to sign off.